Yo, man, it is time for the Moon Knight review. Thank you for tuning in. Don't worry. It's a non-spoiler. This is the Moon Knight review. We know it. We got it. It's a non-spoiler. I'm going to be going over what I saw. Episodes 1 through 4 is what I've seen so far, but I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I'm just going to give you my overall thoughts on the show, performances, and things of that nature. That's it. And I know that a lot of you guys, this is coming out in the morning right now, so it doesn't come out, I think, until the end of the week or whenever it comes out. It comes out. So I'm not going to spoil anything for you, and I know it comes out week to week. So if you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that button. Hit the notification button. Hit the like button. Let's get into it. I love the show. Start right there. The trailer alone was something that I was very excited about because it goes a little. I wanted a little bit of a darker show, a little bit more serious show, and the fact that this is a guy who's dealing with multiple personalities, and then he's also visited or consumed by an Egyptian god of Khonshu. That is the comic lore. That is how it was explained to me, and so I was excited to see how it was going to go. And Mark Spector is one of the multiple personalities that Oscar has, and the other one is Steven. And as you can see, we start with Steven. That's what I'll give you. We start with Steven. We see it in the trailer. And for people wondering and saying, well, the accent, give it time, and understand why things are happening the way it does. But what we do know is that Oscar Isaac, by the way, has to play this. He plays it so well because the characters these two personalities are so different. One of them is an ex-merc, and the other one is just a librarian, librarian. He works at the museum, and he wants to be a tour guide, and he's a putz. Is honestly what it comes down to, and he keeps finding himself in these positions that he doesn't remember, and then it gets real. It gets very real, very fast. So the performances themselves are really good, and you get this exploration into this side of mental health that I think is very important, but it's also it's done. I don't know. There's just something that Oscar Isaac. This to me, whether it's obviously Apocalypse or Star Wars or whatever, this is the best he's been in this genre because he has more time to shine the way Oscar Isaac does in a. He's asked to act more in this. And the first episode to me was my favorite out of all of them. There's definitely the what makes a Marvel show a Marvel show. That's in there. There's a couple times that the Marvel humor pops in, not so much in the first episode, but it does pop in a couple times. And there's a few times, and it happens more so with the Steven character, that I was like, okay, some people are gonna like it and find it to be cute or whatever too. I could have done without it, but it happens every once in a while. But the one who really steals the scenes for me is May Calamway, who plays Layla. And you're introduced to her. Again, I'm not going to tell you too much about it because I want you to learn about it as you're watching the series. But she's great. And there's a lot to her character that I'm still, and remember, I've seen 4 out of the 6, so there's more that I want to see in what's going to happen with her. And F. Murray Abraham plays Khonshu, who is constantly in the head of Oscar Isaac and talking to him and understanding the dynamic of what Khonshu has gone through in his relationship to the other gods, and then how that plays to other things that have been tied to the overall MCU. And Ethan Hawke is Arthur Harrow, and he's the main bad in this one. It's so funny when you go back years ago how Ethan Hawke didn't want to be in superhero movies, and he was one of the guys who was outspoken about comic book movies or whatever he said. Well, here he is, and he does. And thank God he came around because he's fantastic in this. And he plays it's like this religious zealot. And he's got this long, creepy hair, and like I said, there's some brutal stuff. It's not, and I don't know, and maybe I was expecting, and I probably shouldn't have, but I was expecting like a Daredevil, Punisher type of show, and it's still the MCU that we've seen. It's definitely the darkest out of the ones that we've seen so far, but it's still, as I said, it's got that Marvel humor. It's got it just seems like they just pushed it just a little bit more. But there are moments that happen that you're like, okay, I could have seen this on the big screen as well in a 2-hour movie. But knowing where they have to go and the understanding of the relationship between both Steven and Mark, which they have to have, and Khonshu, is an interesting dynamic as well, and how that relates to and where Khonshu kind of lies in the hierarchy of all the gods. So there's so many other people in this movie this show that make up this cast, and I think 6 episodes is perfect because from the 4 that I've seen so far, it's a nice through line, and it's gotten me very interested, and I was constantly waiting for more, and the action's really good. There were a couple times, and I don't know if they told us when they sent us all 4 that at least 3 and 4 weren't completely done, and I don't know if it was which episode it was, and I'm going to go back and watch it again on Disney Plus. But there was a couple of times that the CGI wasn't great. It felt like TV CGI, but maybe that's been changed since. So I'm going to be a little less. But there's a great scene in the first episode. The first episode, I think people are going to lose their minds, and that's the overall thing. What I will say is this: like, as you see how's the suit? People are going to ask. The suit's great. I love the way that it looks. I love the idea of it. Even when you go to the actual, where is it? Well, So all of this here. There's without spoiling too much. This is all relevant, obviously. I love the way that the suit looks. There's a reason for the suit and the tie and all that, which I'll get to more in the spoiler reviews as they come out. But I like the one in the back a little bit more, the one in the far left, obviously. But what I will say is, I'm okay with this. I don't know if everyone will be, but be prepared for a lot of Oscar Isaac as as the Mark and Steven. And not as much as the suit. Be prepared for that. I was cool with that. I liked that. But I think that if you're expecting Moon Knight to be running all over the place in the outfit, you might get upset because it's not there as much as maybe you want it to be. But the relationship is there. And I think because Oscar Isaac makes it so fascinating, that this conflict that he's having as Steven, figuring out all this stuff, it's okay. But I don't know, you might not feel that way. Curious to what you think. It's like I said, there's really not much I can tell you without spoiling anything for you, and I don't want to. All I can say is that this is a show that I want to watch every week. This is a show that I'm glad is 6 episodes, even though I'm going to be upset once it's off the air because I'm enjoying it so much. But I think it's short and sweet, and it gets the job done. I think it sets up this character very well. It sets it up. It's a different type of character. It is a different reasoning. It is it's not only a troubled character that has to take on these powers, but the god himself is troubled, and I also enjoy that part of it. And as I mentioned before, F. Murray Abraham does a great job as Khonshu, and it's creepy, and you're attached to all of them. But my favorite in the show, as far as new stand-up, because I never heard of May Calloway as Layla. She's very endearing, and she kicks ass, is what I say. So, digging the show, man. Digging it. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. But it comes out, and I think, like I said, week by week, I will do the full spoiler reviews like I did for the Star Wars shows. I think that I'll do, picture-in-picture and all that. I already shot my spoiler review for episode 1, so I might do it without the pictures, but after that, I'll do the picture-in-picture one. Let me know. What do you think? Are you excited for this show? Do you care about this show? Do you want to see Moon Knight? Give me a comment and let me know exactly what you're thinking. And by the way, if you are watching this, please drop a comment, and I will respond. I will try to respond. I've been trying to respond to as many as possible. I know I'm very backed up in a lot of the comments, but it helps me tremendously. It helps the channel. And obviously, if you're brand new to the channel, subscribe. Hit the notification button. Hit the like button. Do all that. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much if you can share it. And last but not least, if you like movie trivia, well, if you've liked wrestling in the past or you like it now, think about Monday Night Raw or Dynamite. And think about that with movie trivia, except wrestling. That's what Friday Night Titans is. There's the link in the description, and there's also a little iCard right there. It's Friday Night Titans. Come check it out this Friday. And that's it, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. This was the Moon Knight non-spoiler review. Peace.